This is the BMW M4, the competition version, the coupe version. And I've had a look at the M3, so what better way to compare than have a look at its big little brother sister in Sao Paulo, yellow, green, mad colour. Just like the M3, you got the laser lights at the front. You can identify them with these blue strips. And there's a few bugs on the front. You'll have to excuse me. Let's not mention that thing to do with bugs. Let's just move on with our lives. And the coupe version, it looks fatter at the back, slopier over the roof. Still get carbon fibre bits absolutely everywhere. And if I was picking between the two for looks, I think I'd have to give it to the coupe. A smidgen over 500 brake horsepower, but you know, who's counting? When you see that behind you, you're just going to move out of the way. And maybe it's the second time around getting to look at the car, but I'm just so appreciative of how these drive. I'm not going to spend too long on looking around boots and seats and functionality. You can check out the M3 competition review if you want all that. We're just going to get this thing onto the road and drive it. I do just want to show you the sides though. Similar story, smaller wheels on the front, larger wheels on the back. This skirt with the lighter colour, it just pops even more. And I love the way this is so flared out. It means absolute business. And it doesn't get any less pretty around the back. There's more bits of black, carbon fibre, quad exhausts, carbon fibre boot spoiler. BMW sign is kind of raised out with a bit of chrome around the sides of it. And then a boot that's actually really usable. And you'll fit golf clubs in there if you're that type. So it's all very functional and very eye-catching at the same time. I think you'll agree. Okay, so don't at me for this, but I've actually come to the conclusion that I wouldn't bother with those seats because they look great. For track days, I've no doubt they're absolutely amazing and you can put harnesses in them and all that. And here's the thing, these bits here, day in, day out, they're just too much effort. And I guarantee you after 5 days, which I've spent in total now with the M3 and M4, they will annoy you. Of course, the interior is still gorgeous. The M1 and M2 buttons are on the wheel. The gearbox the exact same as the M3, including all the buttons. And down here, like the M3, you can control your exhaust and set up the car and shortcut modes for M Performance mode. Everything is as you'd expect to find it in the M4 also. Carbon fibre everywhere, gorgeous wheel. The controls are simple, plenty of buttons if you like controlling things that way rather than screens. There's even a drift mode in there and you can rate the drift, or the car will rate the drift for you, the angle of it. It'll actually say, you did a good job. And that's the kind of stuff you're just not going to get in an everyday car with all the functionality of things like underarm storage areas and USBs and all that normal stuff. But it's just quintessentially M as soon as you get in here and you start having a little bit of a poke around. The seats, they are gorgeous, as I've mentioned, but you actually once or twice a day squish your gentleman area getting out of these seats. And I promise you, after a while, that does get pretty tiresome. Seriously. As I film this review, it's 8:30 in the evening time. I should be at home helping bath kids and do all that kind of stuff that doesn't involve driving a BMW M4. And my point is, the channel is fully independent. If you'd like to support us, very minimum, please subscribe if you haven't done so already, because we'd love to get to 20,000 subs pretty soon. But also PayPal, tips, Patreon, ways to support the channel. Buy little stuff like a chili bottle in the description below in the comments. And please, if you've got a comment or a thought or even just a schoolboy fantasy that's never left you from any of the M cars or any BMW for that matter, please leave a comment below and share your experiences with us. It's time to go for a spin. Hopefully that noise tells you everything you need to know about the BMW M4. Quite simply, it's ferocious. It's ferocious in its power delivery. how it tucks into a corner. And as I've mentioned in my previous M3 video, it's just about how drivable this car is, and I'm blessed to have the experience of previous generation M3s. And what I love about this car is, and I know it's not the reason you buy an M4, I understand, but this is such a usable car. You take performance cars and supercars, and they're not often that easy to drive on a daily basis. Like, I'm sitting now in really slow 7km/h traffic, and as I just ease the accelerator, it doesn't jerk, the car doesn't jump. It's so livable on a daily basis. And then if you do that, it goes and rips the absolute face off you. Quite simply, it's incredible. But literally a 5-second squeeze of the throttle in this, and well, you're going to be in trouble with the boys in blue. So it's really difficult to constantly restrain yourself, and to be honest with you, you're going to find yourself doing that an awful lot. It's just phenomenal in how the power is delivered. But I can't overestimate what's also just as phenomenal is how easy it is to live with this car. And for me, that whole combination, that usable package, that this 120 odd thousand euro or 140 odd, if you've gone absolutely bonkers with the options, you've got a car that, you know, sits down in a set of traffic lights and just falls silent like any other car on the road. It's quite magic. There's a cyclist. He probably hates cars, but he still had a glance, didn't he? And the quicker you go, the more planted the car feels, but also that ringing, that absolute incredible whine just gets in on you. It feels like it's part of your body. It's in the back of you can feel the vibrations. It's an incredible sensation that you just don't get from everyday cars, and that's probably the best way I can try and describe it. Like, you're talking seconds. The fraction of time between life and death, and that's when you have to just try and rein it in and be a little bit responsible, because we all want to hang on to our licenses. But as sensations on this planet go, it has to be up there. It really does. Now, it is quite hard. Hit a pothole, you're going to know all about it. That is the downside of it. And around Ireland, if you're familiar with our roads, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. You just want to be paying attention. You don't hit something just a little bit too hard, because that's going to be an expensive accident to your alloys if that does happen. You get a little bit of a twitch even with full traction control on. It's like as if it knows just how much to give you. Not too much, not to cause you into too much trouble, but enough to make you feel like you're a better driver than you are. God, it's just incredible. I think I'm actually even more comfortable in the car, having lived with the M3 for a little while, and I now feel either more comfortable or more cocky, I'm not sure which, behind the wheel of the coupe. And that 8-speed gearbox, silky smooth. It really is, as I said in the previous video, it's everything you'd imagine it to be, and buckets more. Dear M4, you're fantastic. I think I love you. What can I say? We're here for a good time, not a long time. I am going to do the lotto. You should do the lotto, because as driving experiences go, it's going to be really, really hard to match this. It's got the everyday usability of a normal car. It is now by far the easiest M car to drive, from absolute idiots to just about anybody who actually knows what they're doing in a car like this. It's incredible. The performance is incredible. The looks are incredible. It's just one of those cars where you look back at it, every time you park it, you're going to miss it, and you say to yourself, what's not to like? I've got to drop it back now, but thank you so much for watching. And I do have the 128 coming up on the channel very, very soon. So if BMWs are your thing, get subscribing, and we'll see you on the next one. Good luck.